Hey there. Welcome to the Pine Island Experience podcast. I'm Joanna Anderson with my husband, Trygve. Each of our episodes will be conversations with fellow Pine Islanders.
The goal of our podcast is to share with you our experiences, what we have found to be fun, and what makes the Pine Island experience so unique.
Or you're bonding with your friends, you're bonding with your family, you're bonding with a new friend that you just met. And it really is it's a magical experience. Being able to watch that sunset, those beautiful Pine Island sunsets, being able to just take in the dolphins when you see them surfacing on the water, and all of those moments that make Southwest Florida and Pine Island what it is, and the fact that it just really, again, brings us all together. So yeah, I guess to sum up, it's just, we all need to remember that, and remember that whether we're fishing a tournament or we're getting out there in the community and we're trying to introduce fishing to somebody new, that it really is about just sharing that love, sharing that passion, sharing all those beautiful moments, and coming together as a community and coming together as friends and as family.
What you just heard is the heart of today's episode, Moments on the Water That Bring Us Together. You're listening to Debbie Hanson, award-winning outdoor writer, professional fishing guide, and community outreach director for the Freedom Waters Foundation. On Saturday morning, March 7th, Debbie will be leading a woman's free fishing seminar right here on Pine Island, created especially for ladies, whether you're brand new to fishing or simply curious to learn more. And now, here's Captain Debbie. Captain Debbie Hanson has joined us today. Thank you for coming. I know how busy you are. We appreciate it.
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to jump into our conversation today.
Perfect. We're excited to talk to you. We've heard so much about you, and I've looked you up and can't wait to hear all about that. We always start right in the beginning with your background. I know you and I talked about it, so I think we're from the same areas. But if you want to go ahead and tell us about the early days and growing up and where you went to school, your journalism, and until today.
Yeah, I grew up in the suburbs of Chicago. So originally I am from West Chicago, which a lot of times people think is part of the city of Chicago, but it's not. It's a suburb. So I grew up in West Chicago, and I have an older brother. So yeah, we spent a lot of our childhood fishing and involved in the outdoors. My grandfather on my mom's side was an avid outdoorsman, hunter and angler. And he and my grandmother had a place in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. So even though I grew up in the Chicago suburbs, every summer when I had off of school, my brother and I would go up to their lake house in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan on a lake near Iron River called Stanley Lake. And we would spend the entire summer up there with my grandparents, just hiking and picking blueberries and driving to the dump to watch the bears and fishing. And my grandfather just completely instilled his love of the outdoors. I saw how much he enjoys spending time outdoors, and that just really has stayed with me. I mean, my best memories were on a little aluminum fishing boat with him, eating peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, fishing for perch, walleye, muskie, bass, bluegill, sunfish. I mean, those memories are some memories that will stay with me forever. So I think us sharing our love of the outdoors and our passion for fishing and just the beauty of what we have here in Southwest Florida with the next generation is so important, because yeah, I mean, it keeps us centered and it keeps us grounded, and it's just one of those things that helps us remember to have patience. It instills peace within us. Yeah, I'm just grateful for all those amazing memories and where they've taken me today.
Do you remember when it became more than just a hobby, that it was a passion for you to teach others?
Yeah, I think we all go through as anglers an evolution where, especially when we're younger, it's just about the catch, right? We're so excited to learn, and we catch that first fish and it ignites that passion within us. And, the first time we feel the tug on the line and we see a fish jump, that's it. So to answer your question, probably when I was a teenager, maybe in my early 20s.
Oh, you were that young.
Late teens, early 20s. Yeah, probably when I really wanted to share it with others and also get them just as excited about it because I had spent so much time doing it. And, you've got your friends and you do things with them. And it was challenging for me because this was in the 70s and I didn't see any other girls or young women out there fishing. So for me, I was always trying to recruit my friends to do it. But a lot of my, young women friends and my teenage friends at the time weren't really interested in it. And I didn't see, like I said, I didn't see any other young women like myself out there fishing. So my goal was always to try to recruit other people to do it, and specifically other women. And now, of course, we've got lots of ladies that are out there getting involved in it. But it started, a little bit later. Once I got through my youth and made all those great memories with my grandfather, I just really wanted to share that.
You kind of alluded to it. It seems like women might be interested in fishing, but a little bit hesitant to get into it, a little bit nervous about it. What do you tell people or how do you kindle that to kind of take away that fear and say it's okay to ask questions or it's okay to get out there and make mistakes?
The most important thing I from my perspective is just getting them out there to experience it. And even just getting them out on a boat or out in a kayak or out fishing from shore with you. And a lot of times, the first time somebody does it, they are really reluctant or not sure what to expect. And I think, another important thing is just to really celebrate every little thing that they embrace about that experience. Some people, it's kind of like, when you're teaching kids to fish, a lot of times the kids get distracted and they'd rather play with the bait than actual go fishing or catch a fish. But I think it's important to recognize that and let them enjoy those moments. And I think for anybody that really applies, whether it's a child or an adult, it's like we're all going to have those days where, our casts aren't perfect or, the weather's maybe not great or the bite's not great. And, you're more caught up with soaking in a sunset or just talking with a friend. And I think sometimes, given different circumstances, sometimes women fish for different reasons. Sometimes it's about bonding with their friend and hanging out and having a conversation. So I think really it's about taking the pressure off, to boil it down. It's taking the pressure off because no one wants to feel like they're being judged or like if they do something wrong, they're going to be criticized. So I think it just really comes down to just getting out there and cheering someone on for however they're embracing that experience.
What do you think fishing offers people in general and women especially?
Oh my goodness. So many ways to answer that question. Patience, perseverance, peace, connection, community. Those would be my top answers. I know, especially here on Pine Island, there's such a tight-knit fishing community. And one of the wonderful things that I think fishing has brought to my life is that feeling of community, especially with my other women angling friends. When we get together, we have so much fun and we share so many stories and have such a great time. And sure, some of us are competitive. We want to catch fish, but really we just soak in every part of that experience with each other and just have an absolute blast. And we're supportive of each other. And I think That's huge because you can go to a grocery store here on Pine Island and you're wearing a Columbia fishing shirt or a fishing shirt from one of the local tackle shops, and you bump into somebody and you might not know them, but no matter what, you can have a conversation because you have that common thread of fishing. Fishing brings people together, period.
What's it like for you when you see the confidence change in somebody that went from that nervous, not quite sure what to do, into somebody that's now enjoying and relaxing and reaping the benefits?
You just gave me chills. That just gave me chills when you said that, because honestly, that is one of the most rewarding things. I have been a volunteer for an organization down in Naples called the Freedom Waters Foundation, which now I work for. And one of the most rewarding and amazing experiences of my life was taking out some at-risk young ladies. And each one of these young ladies was paired up with an experienced female fishing mentor, and seeing them transform from never having gone fishing before, not being sure what to expect, not having the confidence, maybe coming into the situation head down, shoulders slumped, just really uncertain, to after they've caught a fish or two and learned how to reel in the fish themselves and maybe how to tie a knot or how to cast, seeing their entire demeanor change. And that is really nothing short of magical. I mean, being on the water totally transforms. To see some of these young ladies establish those feelings of empowerment, of self-confidence, worth its weight in gold.
Are there any myths or preconceptions about women in fishing that maybe could be addressed that might help encourage more people? Or just women in the sport or participating in the sport, yeah.
I would say, there's probably some misconceptions. I think that if you go back, I don't really see this as much now. I think a lot has changed within the fishing industry and within the fishing community overall. I think that speaking from my personal experience, when I first met my husband, who is actually a fishing guide, he runs out of Bonita Bay Marina. I told him I enjoyed fishing and I loved being out on the water. He initially said to me, he's like, yeah, okay, well, make sure you bring a book along with you, because when I go out for sometimes 8 hours. And I was like, okay, no problem. So I think that sometimes there can be a misconception that women, not all women are they're not as into it, they're not as intense, that they're not up for spending a full day out on the water. They'd rather be reading a book or kind of getting a suntan while they're on the boat, which is, not true. I think there's a lot. And then, of course, once I went on the boat with my husband, he was like, whoa, you really do like to fish. Because a lot of times he'd be, after 8 hours, he would be ready to go in, right, but I still wanted to stay out there and keep fishing, after the sun went down. So yeah, I think sometimes it's just with anybody. And that was just from some past experiences that he had, with other people that he fished with. But I think anytime that, you go out with someone new, there can be misconceptions or people might have a certain idea about your skills or how long you might want to be out or how diehard you are about it. But, there's a lot of ladies out there, especially now. There's a lot of women who are captains. They're running their own charters. They're running offshore boats. They are even more diehard than a lot of the guys. So I think that's one of them, is kind of, one of the lessons is just to anyone, never make assumptions.
Well, you're right. When I heard Trig asking that question, I'm like, yeah, that's how it used to be, I think, but not anymore. There's so many women. And then you reminded me, we first started fishing. Well, we were friends where we were boating, but then we turned into let's do fishing and sized down to a fishing boat and went out with a couple other couples. And we were up in Crystal River, and the captain, the guy in charge, said, "You better all be up at dawn, or I'm leaving without you." And we went, "Yes, sir." So we went, had a ball, and I can remember every time you feel like a little kid. It's about 4 or 5 o'clock, and they want to head home. I went, "Well, can't we stay one more hour?" You know how you have that feeling as a little kid?
Yes.
I don't want this to end.
Yes.
It's so beautiful, and it's not what you ever do. It's not what you do every day. And you're like so excited.
It's so true. It's so true. It's almost still with as long as I've guided for 9 years. I'm not guiding anymore because of my position with Freedom Waters Foundation, but I guided for 9 years. And I have to say that even with the amount of time that I spent on the water, every night before a fishing trip felt like Christmas Eve to me.
Yeah, like you're a little kid.
Yes.
Oh, perfect. Well, let's talk about the upcoming fishing seminar that you're running March 7th.
Yes, I am so excited and very, very grateful to Pat and Chuck Downs for having us come to do the seminar. So I'm really looking forward to it.
What's on the agenda? I think I saw a flyer recently, about what you're going to be teaching. Can you fill us in on what they can expect?
Yeah, I'd love to. So we're going to break it up. We're going to do an hour of inshore saltwater fishing instruction and tips, techniques. So we'll be sharing tips, techniques, and strategies for spotted sea trout, redfish, and snook primarily. And then the second hour, my good friend, Captain Deb Deo, another Deb, is coming up from the Keys, which is amazing. And she is one of the only female offshore captains down in the Keys. So she's going to come up and she's going to talk tips and techniques for bottom fishing and trolling offshore from her experience down in the Keys. And then the last hour, we're going to do some skill stations. So we're going to work on casting. We're going to work on knot tying. We're going to work on rigging. So we're going to break up the seminar, the morning, into those 3 segments. So like I said, first hour will be inshore strategies and techniques. Second hour will be offshore. And then the last hour will be hands-on and working on a lot of the fishing skills.
Do they have to have had some prior experience?
No.
Okay, good.
Everyone is welcome. We want every woman, young lady to come and feel no question is a dumb question. We all started somewhere. We all get out there on the water and still make mistakes, no matter how long we've been fishing. If anyone tells you they don't make mistakes and they don't ever still get their lure stuck in a tree from time to time, they are fibbers. So yeah, everyone is welcome at any level of fishing experience, and we're going to make it fun. We're going to have an absolute blast. So yeah, come one, come all.
And what do you hope that people take away from the seminar?
I hope that the women that attend most of all feel like they've found some new friends and that feeling of community. Because let's face it, when you're learning anything and it's new to you, meeting some people and having that community where you can connect and say, "Hey, I've got Saturday free. I'd love to go cast a line from the pier here on Pine Island," or "I'd love to go do some freshwater bass fishing at a pond, in Cape Coral somewhere or in a canal." You've got someone to go with. Mm-hmm. I mean, if you have someone and you can learn together, studies have shown you're much more likely to stick with it versus trying to figure out everything on your own. So I hope people the ladies take away some new friendships and that feeling of community above and beyond everything else.
If a woman is listening to this and it sounds interesting, but they're still afraid, what would you say to them?
There is going to be such an amazing group of people that are not only, like I said, Captain Deb Deo is amazing and super approachable. Yeah, just come and take it in. You don't have to you don't have to answer any questions. You can just, if you're just comfortable kind of hanging out and sitting in the back and you want to just absorb some information and get to know some of the ladies that are there, then just do that. But honestly, it's going to be very casual, very laid back, no pressure, and just a ton of fun. So that's what I would say.
People who fish are very friendly and they remember what it was like when they started, don't they? They're going to be helping each other.
Yeah, because that's just the thing. We all had to start somewhere. And whether you've been fishing for years or you just started a week ago, again, that's the best thing about fishing. There's always something new to learn. I've been fishing since I was 5 years old, like I said, with my grandfather, and I'll never know it all because there's inshore fishing, there's offshore fishing, there's fly fishing. And every time you get out there on the water, you observe something new, you learn something new. As time goes on, techniques evolve and you start, there's new baits that come out, there's new techniques that come out. So it's a lifelong learning process and we're all learning. So no one should ever feel like uncomfortable or like they don't know enough. No, we all had to start somewhere. And the most important thing is you just come and be a part of the community and get to know some of the other ladies because I know they're all awesome.
Well, now the Freedom Waters Foundation, I know you volunteered there for quite a while, didn't you? When did you start volunteering there?
I started volunteering in 2012. So that was when someone had mentioned to me, if you love fishing, you need to meet Deborah Frankel, another Debbie, who is the founder of the Freedom Waters Foundation. She's doing some amazing things with therapeutic boating and fishing experiences. And so someone introduced me to Debbie. We met in her office down in Naples and we came up with the Heels and Reels fishing program for teenage girls, which I referenced earlier. And at the time, we were working with the Pace Center for Girls and got those young ladies out on the water. But yeah, and now today, I started volunteering for them in 2012 and actually had to take a step back away from volunteering for a while to start my own charter business and do some outdoor writing. Saw a position came available this past year, was looking to make a transition out of full-time guiding after 9 years. So it was obviously meant to be. And aside from fishing, the Freedom Waters Foundation, their mission is to provide therapeutic boating and boating experiences to individuals with disabilities, life-threatening illnesses, veterans, and youth at risk. So we serve a lot of people who could really just use that time on the water. And I mean, there have been so many studies done, and obviously, firsthand too, Joanna, from living on the water, just how at peace that time on the water, those feelings of peace, how those can come about just from spending a couple hours on the boat or a couple hours of, fishing from a boat, how it helps you put life into perspective and leave your worries at the dock for a while. And that's what the Freedom Waters Foundation is all about. The founder, Deborah Frankel, started back in 2006, she teamed up with a yacht broker. He was from Fort Lauderdale and she had a background as a social worker, and they started taking out kids with cancer, and the organization just grew and grew from there. And now they've been around for 20 years. So yeah, just doing amazing things with helping both children and adults.
Yeah, you're working for a great organization.
Yeah, super, super, super blessed. And we've got just an amazing staff. So it's wonderful to be a part of it.
Was there anything that you wanted to share that we didn't ask yet today?
I would just say that when it comes to embracing women or really anyone in the outdoors, I just to reiterate, the water is one of those places where any differences we might have all melt away. In these times, there's a lot going on, and especially here, the Pine Island community Everyone here has been through a lot with the storms. It's just the one place I think we can all go is spending time together fishing, spending time together boating, no matter what differences we might have or differences of agreement or challenges, again, that we might be going through in life. All of that really fades away when you're spending that time out in the water. You're bonding with your friends, you're bonding with your family, you're bonding with a new friend that you just met. And it really is it's a magical experience. Being able to watch that sunset, those beautiful Pine Island sunsets, being able to just take in the dolphins when you see them surfacing on the water, and all of those moments that make Southwest Florida and Pine Island what it is, and the fact that it just really, again, brings us all together. So yeah, I guess to sum up, it's just, we all need to remember that, and remember that whether we're fishing a tournament or we're getting out there in the community and we're trying to introduce fishing to somebody new, that it really is about just sharing that love, sharing that passion, sharing all those beautiful moments, and coming together as a community and coming together as friends and as family.
And they can all meet you and listen to you on March 7th at the Eagle's Nest Restaurant. I think it's 9 to noon.
Yep.
And it's a Saturday morning. They went to mornings, which I think, looking at all the people that turned out, that was a good decision to have it in the morning. And it's beautiful out under that tiki hut, and just the excitement of all the people and all the questions they ask.
Yeah.
You're gonna love it.
I am so excited. I can't wait. And this time of year, the fishing, it's starting to warm up. We're getting through those cold fronts. The fishing is going to really turn on. So it's the perfect time to pick up some tips and techniques or learn how to fish if you've never fished before. So absolutely. I hope everyone comes out and joins us. We're just really, really thrilled to be here and to be a part of it.
We're so happy you came. Thank you. I can't wait. I'm going to be there. I'm going to listen.
Yay.
And so, yeah.
Awesome.
Really happy to meet you first and find out what you're doing. So I'm excited. Thank you.
Well, thank you for having me on the podcast today and for having this conversation. I really, really appreciate it. It gives me the opportunity to share that passion with other people and to get out in the community and share something that I love, with the hopes that can just keep paying it forward and sharing it with more and more people.
Thank you.
We hope you enjoyed our Pine Island Experience podcast. If you have any ideas for us, people to interview, or any comments, please feel free to email them to us at pineislandexperience@gmail.com. That's Pine Island Experience, all one word, @gmail.com. Don't forget to like us, and you may subscribe to this podcast using all the major catchers like Apple iTunes, Google Podcasts, and Spotify. Thanks again for listening, and remember, island life is a constant vacation. We'll see you on the next podcast.